wait for Mitch. And great to have everybody here. I'm John Fredericks. Looks like I'm going to be your host for a couple of minutes. Brendan Statler is with us from WVSportsNation.com and from WV The Torch. Brendan, Merry Christmas. Hope you and your girlfriend enjoyed it. And Logan Powell is with us. Logan, I heard about your mom. I'm sorry. Hope she's all right. I know she'll be in our prayers and yours also. Trent Connor gracing us with his presence today. Of course, Logan, a senior correspondent on WVSportsNation.com, as is Trent Connor, a contrarian pickster, if you will, and the old ball coach showing up, getting early on the West Coast on Christmas week. Vince Mayako. Vince, great to have you with us, and my best to you and Tammy and your family and your 49ers and all that good stuff. Anyway, great to have everybody here. Let's get started, and let's get right off the bat with these Christmas games. First of all, my first question is to the panel: why are there 3 basically meaningless games on Christmas Day? Can anybody figure out why this even happened? Does anybody even have a clue as to who picked these games and why they're on Christmas and why they're competing with basketball and college football? Like, what was the purpose of that? Somebody just jump in here, please.
Well, I think when the schedule came out, I think those looked like pretty good matchups. You think, the Commanders coming off their big season last year, and of course, every year is a spring's eternal for the Cowboys. So you think, okay, on paper, in July or August, that's a big matchup, right? And then you had the Broncos and the Chiefs. You think the Chiefs are going for another Super Bowl. So in July or August, that looks good. And then the other one, you had the Lions and Vikings, and who would have thought back in July or August that neither of those two teams would make the playoffs? I mean, so that's a chance you take. Maybe if they're going to continue this, something they should probably think about is maybe flexing games, maybe a month out. Figuring out, okay, here's some matchups we could move to Christmas Day. But I think it tells you the vulnerability of the NBA, because the NBA has dominated Christmas Day for decades, and they've never the NFL has said, we don't want to touch that. But now it's like, shoot, let's go. We can compete against any sports team, whether it's on Christmas Day or a Wednesday in mid-November. So tells you the power of the NFL.
Well, let's talk about the Netflix broadcast, which I thought was absolutely pathetic. These guys should not. I know the NFL signed a 3-year contract with them, but I'm watching the Dallas game. I didn't bet the game, right? But if you bet the game, you're right there. Either team, depending on a field goal at the end, over under, depending on a field goal at the end. So if you're gambling on this game, it's right there, right? The outcome, whether you're going to win or lose on both total and game. And right in the middle of the game, they're bringing in Emmett Smith or Clinton Portis. It's like Clinton Portis. What is that? Like from when Clinton was president? Like, who cares what they're saying? And they're right in the middle of the game jabbering about God knows what. Like, what was the object of that?
Well, I mean, something like a during a game interview like that, it works well in a sport like baseball because you have a lot of downtime and a lot of stuff happening in between the action. But for a sport like football, where there's something happening every 5 to 10, 20 seconds, it really doesn't do much good for a random interview that from someone who has played on that team 20, 25 years ago. I see where the Netflix was going with it. It works in baseball. They do it quite often, but it's never been done before. No one normally sees it on normal broadcast. To throw it out there on Netflix, on Netflix on Christmas Day, where you're going to have an influx of people watching because everyone's home. I don't know if that's the best time to test it out. And from what I've seen, it's clear that not a lot of people, were in favor of it, because it seemed like it was really just them just rambling for a very long period of time when the action was going. So I don't think you'll see that kind of continue. Now you do see in the NFL at times someone like a Roger Goodell or someone be in the booth and maybe talk, but for most of it, you don't see what happened on those Netflix games where like it's just solely an older player that was relevant to the team years ago, but hasn't been for years, kind of just taking over the broadcast and just kind of yapping the entire time.
I mean, did anybody else watch that? Was anybody else annoyed other than me? I know there was some feedback on social media, but like it's Christmas Day, you're trying to follow this game and you got these interviews going on with guys that haven't been there in 20 years. Like, I don't even know what the purpose of that was, Vince.
Sorry, go ahead, Vince.
Or go ahead, Brendan.
Well, I was going to say I didn't mind it so much when it was a notable player, like a Barry Sanders during the Lions game. But when I was watching Dallas and Washington, when they interrupted the game to interview Clinton Portis, I mean, nobody remembers this guy. Washington fans don't even remember who Clinton Portis is. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I thought it was ridiculous.
Well, you know, John, I think, Netflix is, I think this is maybe, I think they may have had a game last year. Memory serves me right. But, the streaming companies, I think has done a pretty good job as Prime. And they've been now going at it for probably 3 or 4 years. And maybe I'm the only one on this panel, but you know what? I think Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit have turned into a pretty good duo. And I would have never guessed that because Herbstreit's obviously known for more college football and Michaels has obviously been around forever. And I think that when they first started on Prime, it was matchups like what we saw the other day on Christmas Day, just terrible teams playing each other. You'd play the Saints and the Falcons would play virtually every Thursday night game on Prime. But now you're seeing some of your marquee matchups are being on Thursday night on Prime. And I like the way that Prime has actually handled their broadcasts of the NFL season this year.
Logan?
Yeah, I mean, overall, streaming is kind of like the wave of the future, and I think it's funny to see how each professional league is dipping into it and kind of fully going with the trend. You got NBA has stuff on I think HBO, and then NFL has it all over the Peacock and Hulu, I think, and Netflix and MLB. They have it on their various as well. And I just think that it kind of just shows that what the times are looking like and what the future is going to hold in terms of streaming services versus cable. I mean, I think that's just as a whole for a lot of people, especially my generation of people that for the most part, if we're doing anything resembling cable, it's YouTube TV. Most people are kind of dipping away from the cable aspect of things and just fully going into streaming. But even so, streaming is becoming really expensive nowadays. So I don't even know if that's going to be an option in the next 10 years as well.
I just didn't think. I just thought it was a lousy broadcast all 3 games, and of course, what hurt was these were just meaningless games. I mean, if you're not betting on them, like nobody cares. But let me just tell everybody again, Merry Christmas. Sorry, we're a little discombobulated here. Mitch is not here. Was supposed to be hosting today, so I just took over. But this show, obviously, we're going to give a lot of picks out. We got a lot going on today. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. And remember, all of our picks are for entertainment purposes only. And if you do bet, like most of us do here, bet responsibly. Only bet what you're able to lose. Again, if you know anyone in your family or yourself that has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER, and you get some professional help there. Having said that, this, as all of our Godzilla Wins segment, exclusively brought to you by WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. If you follow anything that has to do with West Virginia University sports, athletics, the big sports, the Olympic sports, you got one place to go, and that's WVSportsNation.com. And 3 of our writers are right here. Brendan Statler, Trent Connor, and Logan Powell. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Also, Coach's favorite site of all time, and he wishes his team and his college had a WVSportsNation.com. Someday you might be able to have that, Vince. Anyway, let's go forward. We're going to get college football in a minute, but the Detroit Lions, we have to talk about this team a little bit. A lot of people picked them to go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. They laid another egg on Christmas Day. 6 turnovers, or what was it, 7 turnovers? Some unbelievable number. Knocked themselves out of the playoffs. Got beat by everybody down the stretch. What a pitiful performance they had this past Christmas. And I guess really since they got beat by Chicago at home on Thanksgiving Day, they've looked awful. What happened to the Lions? Somebody jump in here. Let's start with Trent. What the hell happened?
Yeah, the big issue has been play calling this season without Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell had to step in and tried to take over a few weeks back, and it just things have not been clicking the same. And then they start losing offensive linemen. They've lost Sam Laporta. I think they lost their backup tight end, so they're down there the third string tight end. And things just aren't clicking as well as they did last season. And now the defense is banged up bad. I think the entire secondary is out basically. So a lot of things did not fall into place this season. And then they played the Packers twice. They had a pretty tough schedule. They lost to a lot of pretty good football teams. And then you can't lay eggs in spots like this against a Vikings team that's starting a rookie quarterback, and that quarterback threw 4 interceptions his last start. It was a must-win game.
I mean, basically, they got beat by a team with a third string quarterback on Christmas Day, playing a team that was already eliminated two or 3 weeks ago, and they looked horrible. I happened to bet the Lions. I figured, look, they got to win a game, right? They got to win in Minnesota. Got a third string quarterback. And absolutely pathetic performance. Let's shift here for a second as we look forward to the playoffs. No Lions. Kansas City Chiefs are out. Ravens are on the bubble. What was the biggest surprise this season, guys? NFL. What is it?
I mean, probably that certain teams that you would think would be good this year going in, like the Commanders even. I mean, you could even look at the Cowboys, even that a lot of these teams, not the Vikings so much, but the Lions, the Chiefs, like you said, a lot of these, teams that you thought were going to be elite this year just kind of fiddled out. And whether it has to do with injuries, Baltimore had a lot of injuries to their defense, and Lamar Jackson couldn't really stay healthy this year. The Commanders, Jane Daniels can never stay healthy, and they lost Eckler and then Ertz. So a lot of these good teams that just got, unfortunately, riddled with the injury bug, and it really just kind of fumbled their season. However, these are all still good organizations, especially, and I think that with now they're going to have high draft picks, you could see some of those teams right back in the mix next year. The Chiefs, I think they have some underlying problems. They're going to have to figure out what's Kelsey doing, and their offensive line is still not very good. Their run game is not very good, so they have a lot of holes, but a lot of these teams like the Commanders, they're still built to – I think, the Commanders still built for the future. So I just think some of these teams where they thought their window was going to start this year is delayed another year.
I think exactly. I agree with you, Logan. You look at the Chiefs, and they talk about, is Kelsey going to come back? More importantly, is Andy Reid going to come back? I kind of look at him, and I'm going, you know what? I think he sees the handwriting on the wall where the Chiefs, it could be a struggle to get back in the playoffs in the next 3 or 4 years. And I could see a guy like Andy Reid saying, hey, I've won my 3 or 4 Super Bowls. I've got a great resume. As soon as I retire, 5 years, I'm in the Hall of Fame. This might be my time to skedaddle out of here. So I haven't heard nothing about that, but it just seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, their window, I think, is really closing now. And it would have been one thing if they got in as the wild card or something and even got eliminated in the first round. But, basically to not even make the playoffs. I mean, you're 3 games removed from the season being over, and the Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs. I would love to see what the odds were on like MGM or something. Like the Chiefs will be eliminated from the playoffs after week 15, probably like 1,001. So nobody saw that coming. But look, teams, their windows open and close. That's why you've got to take advantage of it. Guys, I want to move to college football. We got plenty of time for NFL the second half of the hour. First round over. Now we got the big matchups coming. A lot of time in between these games, especially if you get a first round bye, which I'm not in favor of. I'm happy to go into 16 teams, and it was a 2020, 2026, 27 season. So that way, you're not getting this time off. I mean, the teams that didn't that had the bye are getting like 3 weeks off because the games aren't even until later on this week. So you've got that going on. But look, not really any surprises, although Oregon giving up 504 yards to James Madison. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I just don't see that matchup, but I'm gonna weigh in. What do you guys see going forward with this now college playoffs with the now remaining teams that we have, the 8 teams, the Big 8, Elite 8?
Yeah, I think there's a disadvantage having a bye. Especially, it's the one thing to have a bye and sit out for 2 weeks like you do in the NFL, but to have a bye and sit out for, in some cases, over a month,
Right.
like you're looking at, Ohio State and Indiana, and we saw it last year. I think the teams that got the bye last year, and I know the structure was different, but virtually every team that had the bye last year got eliminated in the second round. Yeah, I want to circle back, and we had talked about this, Logan and Brendan, when we got on. Big doings in Ann Arbor yesterday with Kyle Whittingham taking over the Wolverines. And I don't think any of us saw that because Whittingham announced his retirement over a month ago. He was going off into the sunset, has left his mark as the winningest coach in Utah history. And all of a sudden, Michigan comes calling, and okay, well, I'll sign that contract for 5 years. And boy, if a team wants to bring credibility to their program, I think Michigan went a long ways into cleaning things up by bringing Kyle Whittingham in. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to win a national championship, but the reputation of that program, which is in much need help right now, has definitely been revitalized.
Great hire, not only because of his experience and because of his winning record, but you nailed it. They really needed to bring substance of credibility back with all the problems that Michigan has had. I thought that was a great hire. And I think the question was, were they talking to him prior to his retirement or did it come after his retirement? I don't think that's clear. Or does it even matter? Does it even matter, guys?
No, I don't think it matters at all. I mean, a month ago, he probably was looking at retirement, but I doubt that Michigan was already talking to Whittingham at that time because they wanted DeBoer, they wanted Dillingham, they wanted these guys first, and whenever they backed down, DeBoer, he won against Oklahoma. If he would have lost, he probably would have gone to Michigan, and then for Dillingham, Arizona State, really fully committed to him, so they had to pivot, and I think they went to like plan C, plan D, whatever it may have been. But whenever you are this late into a process and you're able to get a well-respected, well-known, long-time coach like Whittingham, I think that is a win. Now, you're going to win a national championship with him? Probably not. But you're going to bring credibility, like you said, coach, and you're going to bring stability. And you're going to bring that 9 to 10 average season to where almost look at it like as a bridge coach. You're trying to build back the Michigan name. And I think Whittingham is a great candidate for that. And I think he's still going to bring a lot of wins to the program, which is what at the end of the day is what matters. So overall, this is a win-win. It may not be a home run for some people, but I think overall it's a very solid double up the gap.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Trent, Connor?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty quality hire for Michigan. I mean, you guys touched on a lot of the main talking points there. It's good for the next 4 to 5 years, and I think they'll be back on the map as a legitimate program.
Great hire, great guy, need credibility. I think Coach Vincent, I understand when your credibility is tanking as an organization, you need to give it a jolt. You need something that goes in order to fix it. And I think he was the perfect answer because the guy's clean as a whistle, never had an issue, never got sanctioned, never anything. Great guy, great coach, great family. And if there's anything I think that Michigan needs right now is Kyle Whittingham. Great hire. I give him a 10. I give him
And if
a
I
10.
can throw this in here too, John,
Yeah.
a devoted husband.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? And that's a big deal, right? That's a big,
Yeah,
especially when
absolutely.
you look at, some of the nonsense going on out there. And not to get into the social realm here, but, there's just a lot of guys out there in coaching college football that have their affairs. It's just not look, everybody does his own deal. But I've always believed when you're representing a university, when you're representing more than just yourself, that you have a responsibility to show the young men on your team the way to behave. And having affairs with assistants is not really the way to go. But hey, we live in a different time, Vince, right? Who knows?
That we do.
Yeah, we live in a different time, and I'm not one to judge lest I be judged. I've had my own problems in this world, but being a good husband is not one of them. Okay, let's get to. We had a lot of bowl games here. A lot of bowl games. We're going to get right to them. We'll get to the big ones at the end, but we're going to rifle through some of these because after all, this is a handicapping show. We got a lot of games today. One of them starting at 11 a.m. when we get off the air, which is Pittsburgh at the East Carolina, versus the East Carolina Pirates. This is the Go Bowling Military Bowl. And we've got Navy who got beat, who won obviously against Army. We've got Navy minus 10. I'm sorry. Pittsburgh, how to get Navy in here? Pittsburgh minus 10 over East Carolina. That's a lot of points for these games. And a lot of these underdogs have been winning. Let's go around the horn. Start with Logan Powell.
Yeah, I mean, Pitt, clearly the better team here. They had an amazing run as the year went on. When they finally made this switch to the quarterback, they really were hitting on all cylinders. And I think East Carolina also had a good year, but I think Pittsburgh is going to be able to outmatch them today pretty easily. One of those games where you can just see that the Power 4 school was just more superior to the Power 5 school.
The only thing, though, guys, I'll get to Vince here, is all the underdogs have been winning. I mean, if basically starting on Thanksgiving Day on any of these games, you took the underdog, you'd be like 85-15. They keep winning. So you look at this 10. I mean, that's just a lot for these games, Vince.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you get these matchups too, when you have a Power 4 versus a group of 5, you might see the records, a Power 4 team with a near 500 record and the group of 5 with a few more wins. But both these teams are 8-4, so both teams have had good years. Is the ACC that much better than the American?
I don't think so.
Maybe at the top they are, but spread throughout, I think the American might be just a shade under the ACC this year. Yeah. So with that said, 10 points, shoot, I'm taking the 10 and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I'm gonna take the 10. No way in one of these bowl games with Pittsburgh I'm gonna lay 10. Now there was a blowout, I think, last night. That game was 7.5. I did have the winner there, but you haven't seen a lot of those. And after the James Madison University cover, when I went to bed up 48-10, I'm done with laying these big points in these games. Are ridiculous. Let's get to Trent here.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's drawing a lot of money in bets in this game, and I think it's right here because ECU. One thing I like to look at, especially when the spread's this high, is the opt-outs for these teams. East Carolina lost both of their coordinators, their star quarterback, their leading receiver, their tight end, and their leading rusher. So they're down a lot of offensive firepower in this game, and Pitt's just not hit as hard. I mean, they lost a starting linebacker, opted out, but they have a good linebacker who has a lot of experience stepping into his position. And then their starting running back to start the season is opting out, but they had a backup running back who's actually their leading rusher on the team, and he's playing. So I think Pitt is just the better team now going into it with all those opt-outs, and I think they can cover this game.
Hey, having said that, these opt-outs that are going on before the bowl games. I mean, we've had a couple seasons now where people are starting to think like me, are the bowl games even at all relevant now with these opt-outs? Statler, give us your opinion here and your pick, Brendan.
No, I haven't. I've thought that many of these bowl games have been irrelevant for years, but I mean, they can make money off it. That's the only reason that they still exist. But yeah, I think most of them are irrelevant. My pick for this game, I think Pitt at 10 at -10 is the right pick. I think they're just simply the better team. So I'll lay the 10 with the -10 with Pitt.
All right, there you go. Did I miss anybody or we got it all?
Other than I want to throw props to Trent right now because I did not do any of that research. But that during these bowls, we look at them and listen, wow, these are stupid bowls, But for the value, if you can do your homework, like obviously Trent has, and if you can find out that these players have left, these coordinators, these coaches have left, there could be some big time value in some of these lines by just doing your homework. So there you go, Trent. You better win.
Good job, Trent. In fact, he might have changed my mind here, but I'm going to have to put this bet in on over the internet on one of my accounts because the game starts before we get off the air, and I can't get over to my kiosk up the street. Okay, I love this game. Right, Penn State versus Clemson. This is at noon. Clemson here -3. So I'm going to give you my pick at the end because this is my best bet of the day, but I'm going to wait. And let's go to Trent here. Trent, opt-outs in this game. What do you see?
Yeah, both of these rosters are thinned out a little bit. If my information I got is correct, there are 27 scholarship players that are not playing in this game for Clemson, and over 15 for Penn State. So there's a lot of turnover here, a lot of changing in both rosters, but Cade Klubnik will play for Clemson, which is big for them, and Katron Allen will be in the backfield for Penn State. So I expect Penn State to lean on their ground game and in the icy weather in the Bronx in this afternoon. I think they cover and win this game.
Brendan.
Well, that information certainly enforces my pick. I love what Penn State has done since moving on from James Franklin. They've been a much more competitive football team. I love Penn State in the upset today.
Coach. Vince.
Yeah, same as both those guys hit the nail on the head. I think another thing to throw in is who's the better equipped to play a cold weather game. Obviously, Penn State, more of a colder climate than Clemson, more of a warm weather climate. So I'll throw that into the mix as well, too.
Logan?
Yeah, I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but Penn State, just with the weather that's going to be implied, and then also being able to still rely on the run game. And even with Cade Klubnik playing for Clemson, he has not had the year that he thought he was going to have, or Clemson thought he was going to have. And probably a big reason why he's still playing in the bowl game. But I think Penn State is, starting to catch some stride, post James Franklin era. And I think today, while these bowl games may not matter that much, I think this new era that the Nittany Lions are going to have, I think this game matters just for the overall, detriment to the program, the overall health of the program. I think Penn State needs to win this game. Give me the Nittany Lions.
I agree 100%. I'm with Penn State here, +3. This is my best bet of the day. No question about it. They have played better down the stretch, and I think they've moved on from the season. They moved on from Coach Franklin. A lot of their younger players have really something here to prove to the new head coach going forward. So I like Penn State in this game, +3. This is my best bet of the day. Let's move on to I can't even say some of these bowls. This is the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Obviously, is played in Fenway Park, I guess. UConn versus Army, and Army -9.5. I mean, how do you even bet this game? How do you even play this game? You don't know if you look at the Huskies. I mean, it's just a lower level of competition. Playing Army, who's played some really good teams, that seems to be pretty big up front. They ran the ball successfully against Navy a few weeks ago. Should have really won that game. Could have won that game. Now they're 9.5. Logan.
Yeah, I mean, Army, they're a team that, I mean, early in the year they beat Kansas State, and then they were close with North Texas, but like I don't know, they just did not have the season that they thought they were going to have. And I mean, yeah, in the Army Navy Bowl, it was very, very competent, very good game. And I think that while you didn't come out with a victory, I think you take that momentum and easily handle UConn, who actually for their standards a very good year. And I think that whether win or lose for the Huskies, I think you have to be happy with the season they've had. But I think Army is going to be able to handle them down low. It's just they are much stronger down low, and they're going to be able to force their will just a little bit more.
Vince.
Yeah, record-wise, UConn was 9-3 this year, but Jim Moore Jr. took the job at Colorado State, the son of playoffs. So, well, playoffs. We're just trying to win a ball game. But yeah, I think Army. I think that's why we see the line so high. And I don't know. I'm sure Trent's done his homework on this, but I would imagine that with Moore leaving, there's a very thin roster left for UConn at this point in time. Obviously, the military schools, they stay intact. With the roster they have today, they had 3 months ago. So take the Black Knights in this one.
I agree 100%. With their coach leaving, but Army played. If you look at that Army Navy game, Navy's a good team. Army really should have beaten them. I mean, they played a great game, and to Vince's point, everything stays intact. I like Army minus 9.5. Trent.
Yeah, UConn's head coach leaving is definitely a big one, and there's not really too many opt-outs for UConn. The big one, though, is their starting quarterback. The next guy up on the depth chart only has 15 attempts this season, so we're going to see just how good he is. And as far as a pick in this game, 9.5 is a high number for a team like Army in their play style. It's a lot of points and what's likely going to be a low-scoring game. I would bet UConn, but I wouldn't put a lot of money on it.
Statler.
Yeah, I still like Army at 9.5 for the reason that Coach mentioned. The roster stays intact. We know exactly what we're going to get from them. It's the same thing we've had all season, and they've played pretty good ball all season. Army 9.5.
Minus 9.5. Okay, guys.
9.5.
Hey, this segment brought to you by our great friends at Healthy Cell. And if you haven't gotten your REM sleep, New Year's resolution, start getting a good night's sleep, because that is really the key to your health, to your life, to feeling better, jumping out of bed, not tossing and turning all night. You take this REM sleep from Healthy Cell. Here's all you do. You rip it off, you down it. Tastes great. 15 minutes before you go to bed, you're out like a light. You sleep through the night. Supports all 4 phases of sleep. You want to go to healthycell.com, healthycell.com. Now, I take my REM sleep, so does my family, every night. Joe's here. He's taking it. Jack's here. He's taking it. By the way, the big guy coming in today. And so that's why he's think he gets in at 1. So I got the big guy coming in. He takes it. My whole family takes it. But it supports all 4 phases of sleep. Now, if you want a multivitamin, I also take the Bio multivitamin, down that every day. These are the 2 things I take. Just go to healthycell.com, healthycell.com/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, and you're going to get 20% off your first order. This is a game changer. Make this your New Year's resolution, that you are going to start to get a great night's sleep and feel better and live better and live healthier with Healthy Cell. Go to healthycell.com, promo code Godzilla, a founding sponsor of Godzilla Wins. And I don't know how many shows we've had, but it's been going on for a while. Back again with you guys. Great to have you with us. We've got Brendan Statler, Logan Powell, the old ball coach, Vince Mayaka. We've got Trent Connor with us. Guys, let's go to another bowl game, and then we got to get to the big games coming up. Here's one that's very interesting. Number 22, Georgia Tech versus number 12, Brigham Young University. A lot of people thought BYU should have gotten a bid into the playoffs. They did not. They got screwed. And we got BYU here -4. Let's start with Vince.
Yeah, this is probably of all the non-playoff games this over the next week. This might be the marquee matchup right here. Boy, I'm excited to actually watch this game. I think this is going to be a really telling game, and we'll see if BYU can try to prove a point in this game, and who knows, maybe they will. Maybe they go out and they go like, we're going to prove to everybody that we should have been one of the 12. Up until I think the last week or two of the season, Georgia Tech was in line to win an ACC title, and they kind of let it slip away from them. So this is, a matchup of potentially what could have been 2 playoff teams. I just think that BYU probably has more incentive in this one. I really do. And which is usually just the opposite. Usually teams that don't make the playoffs, they've mailed it in, but I don't see a Sataki team mailing anything in. Another well-respected coach. So take the Cougars in this one.
Trent Connor.
Yeah, there's not a lot of opt-outs here. The big injury for BYU is their running back, LJ Martin. He's going to miss this game with a shoulder injury, which definitely hurts him. But the thing to watch in this game is the 2 mobile quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks have double-digit rushing touchdowns this season, and I think Haynes King can use his legs effectively against this BYU defense, give them another threat to worry about in that backfield. And the money on this game, BYU is getting a lot of sharp money in this game, but the line's actually moving towards Georgia Tech. So that tells me that Georgia Tech is the side I like personally. So I like Georgia Tech plus points here.
Logan.
I really like BYU here. Georgia Tech, they're a good team, and Haynes King is a really good quarterback. He's tough, and he's done really well for that program. And I think that their play style is going to mimic what BYU wants to do as well in terms of their QB runs. But, I think that they're going to have to air it out a little more with Martin out. And I think Bachmeier, he has shown time and time again that he's able to do that. And Georgia Tech, if they get in that type of match with, the Cougars, I don't think that they're going to be able to keep up. So give me BYU at -4 here.
Brendan Statler.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech's a good team. They score a lot of points, but I think BYU is going to want to prove to the nation that they should have been one of the teams in the playoffs. I think that they're going to play with anger today, feeling they were snubbed. So I love the Cougars in this one.
I think you got to go with BYU here, fellas, and I'll tell you why. Georgia Tech just did not play good football down the stretch. I mean, the last 3 games were horrible for them. All of a sudden, you think they're going to show up in a bowl game and turn everything around. I mean, if you go back to earlier in the season, I guess you could make that argument. But if BYU gets beat here, they get shut up, right? All they're complaining about not getting a bid, this is going to be it if they get beat. I think they're highly motivated in this game. A lot of the players feel like they've been screwed. And so I think you're going to see a big game out of them. I like BYU here, -4. We're going to get onto the big games here in a moment. And our college football playoff segment is sponsored exclusively by Rosie's Gaming. Go to rosiesgaming.com, rosiesgaming.com. You got some time off. You got New Year's Eve coming. Nothing better to do. If you're in or around Virginia, then go to Rosie's Gaming. They're all over the place. They're Dumfries in Northern Virginia. They got a big hotel there. Hampton, Emporia, Collinswood by Danville, all the way on the south side. Vinton by Roanoke. Of course, Colonial Downs. Richmond, right by our studio. They're all over the place. For a lot of fun, go to rosiesgaming.com. Have fun, win money. Biggest payouts, biggest jackpots by design, because they have the lowest takeout of any gaming casino in the continental United States, because the state voted the lowest takeout. That means more money back to the players. That's why they have the highest payouts and the biggest jackpots. Best value for your gambling dollar, and it's fun. The food is fantastic. Everything they have there is great. You're going to love it. Go to rosiesgaming.com. That's rosiesgaming.com. Guys, let's get right into it. We got playoffs coming here, and I'm going to skip over. We got a lot of bowl games I'm going to have to skip over. Quarterfinal, Miami, Ohio State. I can't wait for this game. Ohio State -9.5 against that Miami defense. They looked fantastic. Was it because they were playing maybe an inferior team? But these games are going to be a lot of fun. Miami +9.5. Let's start with Trent Connor.
Yeah, Ohio State, their last game was December December 5th, I believe. And I think what you said earlier, John, about these teams having a long break is going to factor into this game. And it's going to play into Miami's hand a little bit because Miami wants this game to be dirty and nasty. They had 7 sacks against A&M. If they can replicate that against Ohio State and not give Sayin a clean pocket to throw out of, I think they have a real chance to keep this game close, especially with the long layoff Ohio State has. Is their offense going to be clicking the same way it was at the end of the season? It's hard to tell with that much time off. So I think Miami makes this a nasty game from the start, and Ohio State starts a little slower, and they just got to get in that backfield and make it difficult on Julian Sayin. So I like Miami plus 9.5.
Logan, is that defense we saw a week and a half ago? Is that defense for real? That
Yeah.
Canes defense?
Yeah, I mean, that defensive line, that is what's carried them this entire year. In particular, it's probably one of, if not the best units in all of football, college football. They are very stout. They've been good all year. And yeah, they're going to make their presence known in this matchup against Ohio State because the Buckeyes, they don't have a great rushing attack. However, they are effective in the red zone. So I think if you get in that red area where Ohio State wants to pound it in, I really think that the Canes defense is going to stand strong. And I don't see this being a blowout. I think that Miami's defense is going to be enough to, slow down Julian Sayin and the rest of the Buckeye offense. And I think that Carson Beck is experienced, and while he has a lot of flaws and hasn't always been perfect, he has experience, especially in the college football playoff. And I think that experience is going to do wonders for him. And I think this is going to be a good game. And I think that this is going to be a tight game. And I think this is going to be a low scoring contest as well. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch. Two clashing styles, and an ACC team, Big Ten school. One's a great academic institution. One is in Miami. I think that you see a lot of different personalities in this matchup, and especially with the coaches as well. I mean, Mario Cristobal and then Ryan Day, they're polar opposites in terms of, like, Ryan Day, he wants to fire his team up. He's going to fire it up with the media. And Mario Cristobal, I don't know. I don't know. He's not my cup of tea in terms of head coaches and college football, but he's done good there. And I think that this would be a really big win for Miami. And I think that with that, I still think Ohio State's going to win, but I would take Miami to cover at least.
Vince?
This is going to be, if you like points, then don't watch this game. If you like offense, because this is going to be a knockdown, drag out defensive battle. The thing that worries me about Miami is their kicking game. Their kicker struggled against Texas A&M. I believe he missed 3 field goals, all within 40 yards.
Right.
And granted, I think the conditions were a little detrimental. I think they had high winds, but it's still, I mean, it's in your head, right? I mean, it's in your head as a kicker.
Right.
It's just like teeing up a ball, a golf ball on the 18th and right, hoping you keep it in the fairway. Back to Miami though. Miami beat a really good Texas A&M team. They really did. I mean, Texas A&M, up until their loss to Texas to end the season, they were undefeated, and they ran a pretty good gauntlet. This is one of those games where I see Ohio State winning the final score, the game, but Miami's going to keep it within 9.5. I don't see this game getting out of hand either way. So with that said, take the Canes in this one.
Brendan?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add than what's been said. I think it's going to be a low-scoring defensive battle. I think the Buckeyes win at the end of the day, but I do think Miami will cover.
I love Miami in this game. You know what? It's scary when you love a team so much, because those are the games you always lose, right? But there's no way that I'm going to bet Ryan Day and lay 9.5 against this defense, which, if you look at that Texas A&M game, I mean, that defensive line controlled that game for 60 minutes. Unbelievable. The way they fire off the ball, the way they run the ball. I mean, he's got that defense. That is something special. And if you love watching great defenses, which is hard to come by these days, this thing was unbelievable. So I think if there's going to be an upset, I think it's right here. I think Miami can win this game. And if I'm getting 9.5 and I think the team can win, I'm all over it. I love the Canes here, plus the 9.5. That's what we all do. So we have consensus. Okay, let's get to we got some other ones here. The Capital One Orange Bowl, Oregon versus Texas Tech. You know what? There's something wrong when I like games so much, right? So I love Miami. Texas Tech here is my best bet right off the bat. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Oregon minus 2.5. Like, I'm getting 2.5 with a team that I think could win the championship, and betting against the team that just gave up, get this, 504 yards to James Madison University at home. If you think that I'm going to lay 2.5 against this team, you're crazy. Texas Tech wins this whole game. 2.5. There's an old saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I love Texas Tech here. Vince?
Yeah, I think the same thing too. In that JMU Oregon game, even though Oregon got off to a huge lead in the first half, you hit the nail on the head. JMU was still moving the ball up and down the field. It wasn't like they moved the ball up and down the field just in the fourth quarter when the third stringers were in. They were moving the ball in the first half. They had to settle for a couple field goals. I think they had maybe a four downs and out in one situation. So yeah, Texas Tech going in, when I saw the brackets, it's like, you know what? If for the money, I think prior to this, you could, what was it, minus 800 for the Red Raiders? I mean, you are getting extremely great value with Texas Tech. So with that said, I mean, I'd be stupid not to bet on Texas Tech, and you're getting points.
Well, you know what was interesting, guys, before we get to all your picks, is I laid the 21.5, right, against, what was it, James Madison. Absolutely should have won that game. So JMU gets the ball with 5 minutes to go on their own 1 yard line after they fumbled the kickoff and almost got it, recovered by the other team, which would have been the end of the spread. 5 minutes to go. They go right down the field. They go right 99 yards. They go down the field. And then if you're telling me that JMU coach didn't know what the spread was, he called 3 timeouts at the end of the game on the 10-yard line to get that touchdown with 6 seconds to go in order to cover the spread. You can't tell me that guy was not playing to cover that spread. Who calls timeouts? The game's over. You can't possibly win. He called 3 timeouts when they were first and goal at the 10 in order to run the ball and get in the end zone to cover the spread. Guys, come on. You can't tell me that was not done to cover this spread, Trent.
Yeah, I don't know what was going through his head, but it seemed like the spread may have been going through his head. I mean, JMU, I think they deserve some credit. Those kind of teams, their offense is usually what gets them there, and their defenses don't have the athletes to hang around with Oregon. But I think they put on a pretty good performance. In this game, the defenses are elite for Texas Tech. And both offenses are very high power. They both of them score about 40 points per game this year, which something's got to give in this game. And I think Texas Tech's defense is going to be a little sharper. They only give up 30% of third downs, and they convert about 50% of third downs on offense. So I think the third Texas Tech on third down is going to be the difference in this game. So I like Tech to cover and win.
Coach Vince.
Yeah, I said before, I love the Red Raiders in this situation. So take Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, Red Raiders got one of the best defensive units in the nation. And the fact that they're a little closer, it's in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, they're a little closer. Oregon's got a longer flight. But I think that Texas Tech's offense is more than enough to go hand in hand with Oregon's. And on the other side of the ball, Texas Tech just has a better defense. And I think that unless something drastic happens where Oregon's just carving up their defense, Jacob Rodriguez is nowhere to be found, I think that this is a game that you can comfortably bet on Texas Tech to cover and to potentially even win as well. I think that if you just want to straight go money line, I think that would be comfortable as well.
Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all you guys. I mean, I think this pick is really a no-brainer. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, John. You said that this Texas Tech team very well could win the championship, and I agree with that. This is an easy bet. Texas Tech plus 2.5.
We all love Texas Tech. A lot of consensus today on these games, so we'll see how that plays out. But I love, as I said earlier, I love Texas Tech. Okay, Alabama. This is on Thursday night, right? Coming up, New Year's Day night, I guess it is, right? Thursday night. Alabama at number 1, Indiana. Alabama number 9. This is the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and Indiana minus 6.5. Let's start with Trent Connor.
Yeah, the Bama is getting a little bit of love on the spread by bettors currently, but that's to be expected with Bama, especially this early. There's going to be a lot of bigger bets coming in, and Indiana's experiencing the same layoff that Ohio State is experiencing, which I think could affect them, but I expect Kurt Cignetti to have them ready to play, especially considering they like to lean on the rushing game a little bit. They that usually translates well to a long layoff. And what stands out to me is this game's 6.5 spread, and so is the night game here, which typically when I see that, I think one underdog covers, one favorite covers, and potentially the underdog even wins. But this is the game I like the favorite to cover. Indiana's just a superior team to Alabama, and I think Bama's going to be getting a lot of love that is not warranted.
Brendan.
I mean, how do you bet against Mendoza and the Indiana Hoosiers this year? I mean, Alabama, they've looked good lately, but they've been too inconsistent all year. I'm laying the 6.5 with Indiana.
Logan.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because I think Alabama has the ability to go to the championship, but Indiana, I think wholeheartedly this is their year. I think Kirk Saban's got his team. Mendoza's playing at a very high level. They're just hitting on all cylinders. I do think that Alabama can keep this close. I'm gonna take Alabama to cover, but I think it's gonna be a good game. Two pretty good offenses. Alabama just is a little bit more inconsistent compared to the Hoosiers.
Oh, ball coach Vince Mayako.
Yeah, I think Indiana is just the better rounded team in this situation. I think you look at on both sides of the ball and special teams. I think Indiana is definitely superior to Alabama in this matchup. And another thing too, I think Alabama got a favorable, even though they had to go on the road and play Oklahoma at Oklahoma. Alabama had a lot of advantages in that. But number one, they had gotten beat by Oklahoma before. Two evenly matched teams is virtually impossible to go 2-0. And in that loss to Oklahoma earlier in the season, Alabama actually dominated Oklahoma. They had a bunch of turnovers in that game. I think they had close to 500 yards of total offense, and they lost to Oklahoma. So that ended up being a favorable matchup in the first round. I tell you, man, I am sold on the Indiana coach. Cignetti knows what he's doing, man. And if you've never heard of him, Google his name. Okay, he's a winner. And he most certainly is a winner. And Fernando Mendoza at quarterback, that guy, he seems like he's a guy on a mission right now. So go Hoosiers in this one.
So you're going with Indiana minus 6.5.
Yes.
Same here. Somebody's got to beat them. I don't see Alabama doing it. Remember, Alabama was down 17-0 in the first quarter in this game. They were down for a reason. They're a very inconsistent team. Oklahoma made that one. They had a drop pass that could have put them up 24-7. I think we talked about that a week ago. There was a ridiculous pick six that was just stupid. I don't know where the hell that pass was thrown to. I don't think Alabama's that good. I don't even think they should have got here. I think Indiana makes a statement here. This is going to be a blowout. I love Indiana minus 6.5. Okay, guys, let's wrap this up. Sugar Bowl, baby. Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia coming in this game minus 6.5 over Ole Miss, coachless, but Ole Miss obviously getting by their first round pick. Georgia Sugar Bowl minus 6.5. Logan Powell.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the points are at 6.5. I mean, Ole Miss, they were able to get to the first round, but without Lane Kiffin and first-time head coach, you're going into a Georgia Bulldog team that is like a well-oiled machine. At every single level, they can dominate. The Bulldogs, they're at that point, they're like Alabama from 10 years ago, where at any point, any season, they can be in the national championship. I just think that based off the roster they've been able to retain and the coaching stuff they've been able to retain, I think that they're going to be able to not easily handle, but be able to handle Ole Miss. 6.5, a little high, but I think I'm going to take Georgia to cover.
You like Georgia, Mr. Statler.
Yeah, I like Georgia to win, but I think Ole Miss is going to cover. I think Ole Miss is going to play with a lot of passion, considering their head coach abandoned them. I think it's going to be a very close game, but Georgia will win. Ole Miss covers.
Trent Connor.
Yeah, Ole Miss and Georgia played actually already this season. Georgia won 43-35, but Ole Miss was up 35-26 after 3 quarters, and Georgia scored 17 in the fourth to win that game, and that game was played at Georgia. So I think Ole Miss has the chops to beat Georgia in this matchup, and I think they're going to have some extra motivation to prove Lane Kiffin wrong here. And I like Ole Miss to cover, and I think they even have a pretty good chance to win this game.
Vince Mayako.
And here's another thing too. Even though Georgia fans will travel, this game was in Pasadena, they would fill up the Rose Bowl. But proximity wise, New Orleans is an hour and a half drive from Oxford, Mississippi. And if you don't think that the Rebels are going to be well represented at the Sugar Bowl, you're fooling yourself. So I think it could turn into a home field advantage for Ole Miss as well too. The way this matches up. Trent hit the nail on the head. They played earlier, and Ole Miss hung with them in Athens, Georgia. So this does not shock me. I'm going to take Ole Miss in this one, and I think they could legitimately win this outright.
Well, 3 guys take Ole Miss. I'm going with the Dogs. Obviously, I picked the Dogs to win the championship at 6-1, so I'm rooting for them to win. But I'm going to lay the 6.5. I just think they're a better team. Georgia's getting better every week. This is why I think they're going to win the whole thing. They're getting better, and Ole Miss's defense is very, very suspect. So that's why I'm going to lay the 6.5. I like the Dogs, guys. That finishes us up for college football, except one go around. Who's going to win the championship? I just need a team. Brendan Statler.
Indiana Hoosiers.
Logan Powell.
Indiana.
Vince Mayako.
Texas Tech.
Wow. Trent Connor.
I'm sticking with Indiana.
JF. Georgia Bulldogs, baby. Let's go, Dogs. Okay, we're going to be right back with Pro Football. Stay with us. Quick word from our sponsors. Don't even think about going away. We are coming back, and we're coming in hot.
West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineers sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, WVSportsNation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
John Frederick, your Godzilla of truth, fiercely independent.
No ties to Wall Street, I promote Main Street.
The John Frederick Media Network, privately owned and operated, on top of the issues on air and online.
Trucking the truth every day for 14 years.
The John Frederick Show drives your morning, weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. The only independent White House correspondent with live reports from the White House. Hit johnfredericksradio.com. Watch at jfmn.tv. John Frederick, your Godzilla of truth.
Who's going to stop me now?
Nobody.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, and then spends about $30, $40 with the county recorder. They then take out loans using your home equity as collateral. And the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. Most people don't check on their home title because why would you feel like you needed to? But this right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock. They have a $1 million triple lock protection that helps keep your home and equity safe. It includes 24/7 monitoring with protection immediately, urgent alerts in case there's any changes in your title. Then if fraud does happen, they have a US-based restoration team that will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
John Frederick, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby!
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah,
for entertainment purposes only.
Hey, welcome back to Godzilla Wins. This is NFL Sunday. Great to have you with us. We got a lot of games to cover. Thank you for joining us on Godzilla Wins just before New Year's on this Saturday, December 27th. Thanks for joining us. Our crew is here. This segment, as always, our feature sponsor, WVSportsNation.com. You want to bookmark it. You want to get on our email list every day. Anything about WVU sports, West Virginia University sports, doesn't matter. Soccer, basketball, baseball, football, women's basketball, archery. You got it. Rifle, rowing, all there. Just go to WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. Get us there. Bookmark us and read all about your favorite sports, your favorite players, your favorite university. WVSportsNation.com. Now, remember today, we're going to make our picks pretty soon. Next season, we're going to have all these graded. So this kind of got ahead of me this season, guys. But next season, the Godzilla Wins ticker is going to go up. And every time you make a pick, we're going to put you in there. And everybody's going to have to tell us we're going to go 1 to 5 units, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. You're going to have to put these picks in. You make a pick, you got to put it in. So then everybody's going to get graded. So the stakes get a little bit higher next year in football. This season, it just got ahead of me. But great to have everybody with us. Now, if you have a gambling problem, you or somebody you know in your family, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-GAMBLER. And don't forget, our picks are for entertainment purposes only, although most of us here do gamble on our various networks, but they're for entertainment purposes only. And remember, only bet what you can afford to lose and game responsibly. That's the whole thing. Like anything else in entertainment, be responsible with it and you're good to go. But if you do have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 1-800-GAMBLING for you or somebody that you might know in your friends or family. And we're good to go. Moving right into the NFL. We talked a little bit earlier about the all of the crap games on Christmas Day. They were all duds. All of them stunk. So I couldn't care about any of them. But let's get right to it here, guys, because we got NFL coming up. And starting on Saturday, we got an NFL doubleheader. Boy, the NFL just taking over everything, right? They got Christmas. They're impeding now in college football on Saturday. They got the whole thing going on. And here we go. Let's start at the top. The Houston Texans, great defense, surprise team trying to make the playoffs at LA Chargers at the old San Diego Chargers. That's going to be in Inglewood, California. This game, home team Chargers, obviously, and the Chargers are -1.5. -1.5 are the Chargers in this game. Let's start with Brendan Statler. Big game. Both teams trying to win. Chargers trying to win the conference. Obviously, the Texans still trying to make their way into the playoffs. What do you see here?
Man, these are two great teams. I think this game is going to be back and forth. It's going to be really close coming down to the wire. But the biggest difference is going to be that Houston Texans defense. I think they're going to get in there, make Justin Herbert uncomfortable. They're going to completely wreck the game. I like the Texans in an upset.
Logan Powell.
Yeah, this is a great game. Two teams that have almost solidified themselves in the wild card, unless something crazy happens. Texans, they have surprised me as the year's gone on entirely. Their defense is one of the best defensive units I've seen in the NFL in a few years. They are stout. That they have got the Will Andersons, the Danielle Hunters, the Stingleys. They have finally come together. The acquisitions, the draft picks have come together over the past couple years, and they are working in harmony. And this is a very good unit, and arguably a unit that could lead them to at least one playoff win. But the Chargers, they have also been steadily getting better as the year's gone on. I think that it's going to be a close game. I'm going to take the Texans outright. I just think their defense is going to be able to shut down Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense.
Trent Connor, what do you think here, Trent?
Yeah, the Texans defense gets a lot of love, as they should, but the Chargers defense is right behind them. They are a solid group, and the stats show it. I mean, they're second in total yards, tied for 8th in points allowed. The Chargers defense is stout, and the Texans offense is not some world beater by any means, where the Chargers offense is actually pretty good, and they convert 47% of third downs. I think that's going to be the key here. And Houston's actually getting a lot of love from bettors, so that makes me like the Chargers a lot in this game.
Vince, West Coast team, Chargers getting no respect here, right? No respect at home, winning. They're gonna probably win the conference, playing great football. They get no respect. They're only -1.5. I mean, you think they'd be 3.5 or 4? -1.5, getting no respect, Vince.
Yeah, none whatsoever. And if the Chargers win out, because they'd have to beat the Texans and they play the Broncos next week, they win the AFC West. And with a little bit of help, I think actually could still be a number 1 seed. Some things would have to fall their way. The Texans, if the Texans win out, and if the Jags lose one of the remaining 2, then they're the South Division winner. So a huge matchup here. And both defenses, elite defenses this year. So as Trent had mentioned, who's the better offensive team? I think without question, it's the Chargers. So with that said, and being at home, I like the Chargers in this one.
This is my best bet right off the bat. I love San Diego. I keep calling them San Diego. I love the Bolts here, even though they don't really have a home team, right? Because where is it? Los Angeles. They haven't really taken to the team. Half the fans that show up are going to be from Texas there. But I think this team is underrated. I think they're undervalued. I think they're getting no respect. And Abear's having a great season. And I'm going to go with what Trent said earlier. The Chargers have an offense. So if they get behind, I know as good as the Texas defense is, let's say this game is, 13-3, they can come back and win. If the Texans get behind, this game's over, right? They have no ability to score if they're down big. I love the Chargers in this game. I think they win. I think they win handily. And so I'm going to lay the 1.5. This is one of my best bets of the day. Ravens at Packers. Oh, my goodness. Nobody's playing. No Jordan Love. No Lamar Jackson. What's going to happen here? At Green Bay, they're -4.5. Ravens fighting to get in the playoffs. They have no quarterback. Packers skidding here at the end. They don't have a quarterback. But the old Titan, Malik Willis from Liberty University, looked great until the end of the game last week. Other than that, he looked great. So Packers blowing that game because they can't catch a football on an onside kick. Unbelievable. But -4.5 in Green Bay without Love. Let's go counterclockwise. Coach Vince Maiaco.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Green Bay even has anything to really play for. They're in the playoffs with the Lions losing the other day, so I think they're assured a spot in the NFL playoffs as a 7 seed. And the way they gave that game away to the Bears last week was just, it was painful to watch. Malik Willis when he came in, I think it was an ultimate surprise because he ran more of a read option type of offense as compared to Jordan Love. So it kind of caught the Bears off guard. But now that the Ravens have a week to prepare for him, I like the Ravens. Even though Lamar's not quarterbacking, I like the Ravens in this one.
Okay. Vince likes the Ravens. By the way, our panel, which I forgot to introduce, obviously you just heard from Coach Vince Maiaco. He's the head coach in Bakersfield of Taft College, head baseball coach there. Trent Connor with us. Trent, senior writer for WVSportsNation.com. Go to WVSportsNation.com to read Trent. Also with us, Logan Powell, senior writer also with WVSportsNation.com, and Brendan Statler, writer for WVSportsNation.com and also part of the WV The Torch sales team in Morgantown, West Virginia. So we got the whole gang here. Of course, I'm John Fredericks, your host. Mitch Rogers off today, so he'll be back hopefully next week hosting our show. Okay, let's go to Trent Connor here. What do you think? Green Bay -4.5. No Love, no Lamar Jackson. But as Vince said, the Packers, who cares? They're in.
Yeah, very low total for this game with both quarterbacks out. Actually, both low totals for both games today, so I wouldn't expect a lot of points in either matchup. But we got two mobile quarterbacks who can run the ball effectively with Malik Willis and Tyler Huntley. Malik Willis showed a pretty good arm last week when he came in for Jordan Love. He was being accurate with the football and being decisive when he chose to run. But I think both teams, knowing that they won't have their starting quarterbacks, will game plan to lean on their running backs as they should. Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry are two of the best in the league, especially as volume backs. They get better as the game goes. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and for that reason, I'd take the Ravens +4.5, just because I think -4.5 is too much for the Packers to cover. So I like the Ravens.
Hey, can I jump back in there?
Yes.
And Trent, you brought up a great point and kind of from last week. Why did they stop using Derrick Henry last week?
I was just going to bring that up.
Every week.
Yeah, his snap count's fallen drastically in the past few games. He's been under 50%, I think, in the last 2 games. So there's something may be going on behind the scenes, but
there has to be.
That's why I love the Ravens, because I know they'll always look out and bench their star running back in the fourth quarter and be a detriment to their own team. I mean, their offense is a detriment to themselves. I mean, they just shoot themselves in the foot. I love to see it as a Steelers fan. I know when in doubt, they're going to bench Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. And even though in this game where it's 2 backup quarterbacks and 2 teams that need to rely on their running game, with both having very good running backs, Josh Jacobs, he's had a really good season, 13 touchdowns, and Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league. He's going to get benched in the fourth quarter. So it doesn't matter how close the game is. If the Ravens are losing or up, he's going to get benched. So And
Why is he getting benched though? Why is he getting benched?
You know, fumbles could be part of the issue. He just fumbled several times this year.
Yeah,
he had a key one last week.
But this has been the Ravens' MO for the past 2 or 3 years with him. He always gets benched later in the game, and I love to see it as a Steelers fan, and I know I can always count on it. So, but with this game being in particular, I think that the Packers defense is also a little hurt, and the Ravens defense has gotten much better as the years gone on. But I think that the Packers do have something to play for because the Bears play the 49ers tomorrow, and the Packers have to win out and the Bears have to lose out for the Packers to get to win the division. So I think if you're the Packers, you can still see that happening because the Bears are probably not going to beat the 49ers. So the Packers want to win at least this game for a Lamar-less Ravens. So give me the Packers, but what's the spread at? I think it was
-4.5. Yeah,
I think the Ravens are going to cover, but I think the Packers are going to win.
So, okay. You guys, all three like the Ravens? Is that it?
Ravens to cover.
Yep.
Statler, all three like the Ravens to cover. Have the Ravens won a game without Lamar Jackson?
Not that I could think of.
No. They've not won a game without Lamar Jackson. Not one. Right? No. So the team is winless without Lamar starting at quarterback. Guys, I just don't see this team without him. And it's tough to lay the 4.5, especially as bad as the Packers have played down the stretch. But I mean, I don't see the Packers losing another game at home again. And I'm going to lay the 4.5 here. Malik Willis showed me a lot last week. I think I think somebody said he was decisive when he was with the Titans. Who's just out of Liberty University. He was very indecisive. They really wouldn't let him throw the ball. They gave up on him early, but he's been a very capable backup. So I like the Packers here, minus the 4.5. Brendan.
I'm going to agree with you, John. Turn out the lights. The party is over in Baltimore. The Dirty Ratbirds are going to fall at Lambeau Field, and that makes your 2025 AFC North champions, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go.
Does a Ratbirds defeat eliminate them from the playoffs, guys?
Yes.
So they lose, they're out. And the Packers, in order to win the division, they need to win the next 2 games.
Yes.
Right?
And
the Bears get beat 2 games.
Yes.
And the Bears are playing 2 really good teams.
The Bears, I think they got the 49ers and they get the Lions.
Yeah, they should be the Lions, right? So, yeah. All right, we covered everybody on that game. These are Saturday games, and we've all got the same team here. Okay, let's go to a meaningless game. Cardinals at Bengals. Bengals minus 7.5. I'm just going to make this easy. I like the Bengals. I think this is a blowout. Cardinals are done. They don't want to play on the road. This thing's over. Joey Burrow still having fun out there, still trying to score touchdowns, means something. Bengals win this game easily. Logan.
Yeah, don't you love a meaningless game with two teams that are not very good, but at least the Bengals, make it fun while they're not being good. And I mean, they got to do something because Joe Burrow, maybe, he said those things in a press conference earlier a couple weeks ago, and who knows what that was. He hasn't had the season. He's been injured, and the Bengals haven't had the season. They really haven't had these seasons since 2020. They need to make a move. They need to make a head coaching change, but they need to fix that defense. And the Cardinals, hey, I don't think in my lifetime ever the Cardinals will be relevant whatsoever. I think they're just one of those teams that are just there. They're just. I feel bad for who's a fan of them. I've never met an Arizona Cardinal fan. I feel bad for anyone that is. This is a game that it's on the TV. It's on the TV, but I'm not going to seek it out. 7.5 point spread, very large, but I think that the Bengals are going to cover it. The Cardinals are just not very good at all. They need to move on from Kyler Murray.
I agree with you. Trent, Connor?
Yeah, Cardinals kind of laid a dud last week at Atlanta. The Falcons have a much better defense than the Bengals have, though. The Bengals defense is atrocious, probably the worst in the league. I think if you like points, you should watch this game because I think both these offenses are going to light it up. And I think the Cardinals hang around with Cincinnati here. And Jacoby Brissett is very capable of dicing up this defense. I think he has a big game. I think the Bengals probably win late, but I like the Cardinals cover 7.5.
Vince?
Looking down the stretch, not that I was looking down the stretch with the Arizona Cardinals schedule, but thought that of any game they had a shot at winning, it would have been last week against Atlanta, and Atlanta dominated them. So I don't see the Falcons keeping this one close. I think the Bengals win in a blowout, and this game is at Cincinnati too, so weather could be a big part of it as well. I think Cincinnati's better equipped to handle the cold, frigid conditions of Cincinnati, Ohio, much better than the Cardinals of the Arizona desert.
All right. That leaves Brendan Statler.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really have to give much analysis for this. Both these teams suck, but the Bengals suck a little less than the Cardinals. So I think the Bengals are a touchdown better.
This is just an easy win, guys. This is one of those games at the end of the season where, to me, it's easy money, right? The Bengals are going to score a ton of points regardless of the weather. Joey Burrow's out there trying to have some fun, and the Cardinals are just dead. They're just dead. The water going on the road. You can forget them. So it's a good bet. Okay, let's go. Your Pittsburgh Steelers going to Cleveland. Steelers are -3. Let me just start, okay? If the Steelers don't win this game, you guys should not come back on the air next week, right? I mean, you're fighting to win the division. You're going to play in the hapless Cleveland Browns. This seems horrible, right? They're awful. You're going in there, you're -3. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got everything going for you. You're now starting to win. How do you go to Cleveland and lose this game, or even worse, not cover -3? This game should be -7. Why are they only -3? Trent Connor.
Yeah, the spread is confusing to me a little bit. I know DK Metcalf's out with he got suspended, and the Browns just lost their starting running back, Quinshon Judkins. He's probably maybe the best player on offense, so it's a little confusing to me. And I would bet the Browns in this situation because I feel like the Steelers are going to get a lot of public love at this number. So I would take the Browns, and let's see if Shador can keep it close. And the Steelers could be playing kind of a meaningless game if the Ravens happen to lose today. They would already clinch the AFC North, and maybe don't want Aaron Rodgers to get have Myles Garrett wreak havoc on him. So I like the Browns in this game.
Vince?
Yeah, that's a good point. That might be a game if you're looking to bet. You wait until after the game with the Ravens and Packers game finishes before you think about making that. But I do make this. If the Browns win, John, tomorrow, I think that Brendan and Logan should wear Shador Sanders jerseys next week.
Not happening, Coach.
With a watch.
No. Hey, if John can buy me a watch, I'll do it.
There you go. Well,
John, if I'm putting on a Shador Sanders jersey, I want a Lamborghini or something. I mean, come on.
You might have to need a pay raise on that one.
I would need a
But
pay
with that
raise.
said, boys, I'm going to take the Steelers in this one.
This DK Metcalf thing. I mean, you're fighting for a division title. Why are you punching a fan? I mean, what is wrong with this guy? I mean, you're down the stretch. If the team was out of it, and then fine, okay, you get suspended 2 meaningless games. You get paid, whatever, you get fined. I mean, why are you in there fighting with a Lions fan with the blue hair or whoever it was? I mean, what the hell? What was that about, Logan?
The same fan heckled him last year when he was on the Seahawks. From what we're hearing, DK Metcalf, I think, was claiming, racial things that he was saying. But I think at the very least, we know for sure that the fan kept repeatedly calling DK by his full name, which he does not like. But I don't know, as a grown man who has a lot to play for, and now he's going to lose out on his $40 million guaranteed money, he has to know that he had a lot to play for. And I just don't see how something more had to be said, either like talking about his mom or racially. So there's something, unless it was just purely that this guy has heckled him in years past and he just got fed up by it. But DK Metcalf has to have better emotional, maturity in terms of just not losing your cool. You have to understand the situation. not just for yourself, but also for the team. You just got suspended for the last 2 games that are divisional games that you need to win. At least, I mean, you got to at least beat the Ravens for sure. But I don't know. It was a freaking mess. And then
what are you doing? I don't care what the fan says. What are you doing punching a fan on national TV? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, do you have a brain in your head? You have
the fan doing a press conference was crazy too.
Hey, you know what, too, Logan and John, is hey, I'm not, I'm not advocating for this at all, but if that fan was saying racially motivated stuff, then Metcalf should have approached security and said, hey, that guy is saying racial slurs. I want him ejected from the stadium.
And they would have done it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he has every right to be escorted out of the stadium for saying stuff like that. But after the fact, to make that as an excuse, I'm not buying it.
Well, I'll tell you the reason I don't buy it here real quick, why I don't buy any of the racial slurs that Metcalf claimed. We've all seen the videos on TikTok, wherever else. I mean, nobody in the crowd reacted as if a racial slur or something very derogatory was said. Now, whatever he said it loud enough for DK Metcalf to hear it. If he would have hurled a racial slur at him, there would have been a pretty good reaction from the people sitting around him, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I don't buy it. I think
also the fans around them weren't shocked when DK went up there. So you could look at it both ways. So I don't know.
Well, he had a Metcalf jersey. They thought that DK was coming over to sign his jersey.
Hey.
So that's probably why they weren't surprised.
You can't feel bad for DK, but
no.
I'm with Stout here. I'm with Stout here 100%. If anybody is in the stands and you're yelling out very offensive, inflammatory racial comments, I mean, there's no fan that's going to just sit there and clap. Okay, you're going to be like, "Hey, shut up, asshole!" Right? I mean, that's what fans do. I mean, we've all been at these games. As far as chirping is concerned, I mean, Vince is a manager of baseball team. You get chirping all the time. I mean, come on. I mean,
that's part of the game.
I remember I stuttered bad as a kid growing up. I remember in the bullpen when I warm up. The other fans would go over there and, it got around that I stuttered. I couldn't talk and they'd be making fun of my stutter. And I'd get in the pitch. I'd be throwing warm-ups. The other team and the dugout would be good. I mean, you just give me the ball. I'm going to throw the ball. Okay. I mean, you can't react to this. It's part of the game. And so people get made fun of or they get chirped at. I mean, you just got to have the manhood to just go and play football. So the guy should get suspended for two games. I think the NFL did the right thing.
Yeah, and DK is a player that has a history. I mean, we've seen it all season just with the Steelers alone. He has a history of losing his composure, picking fights, and getting stupid penalties. So how could anyone possibly take anything he says at any value, any claim that he makes? I mean, yeah, he has a history with his fan, but I mean, like I said before, I'm not buying the racial comments just because there was no reaction from anyone else. I think he said things that DK didn't like, typical chirping you get from fans in an away stadium. And DK once again lost his cool, and it cost him.
This jackass.
Not a smart move at all.
I think the fans should definitely get banned from the stadium as well, though. The fact that he's followed DK to 2 different teams.
I don't agree with that. You know what? Why should he get banned? He's buying his ticket and he gets under the guy's skin. And so what? Right? I mean, you got to be able to man up. And whether or not he's making fun of him or not, or chirping at him, the guy bought a ticket. He didn't do anything wrong by chirping. It's part of the game. That's why you have home teams, right? I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, don't you think Mahomes gets chirped every time?
Damn right he does. You just want to play the game.
Yeah,
look,
part of it.
The screen behind me is the Maryland. Vince, this is hilarious. It's the Maryland baseball field, right? So for the Maryland Relief Corps, right? Their pen is enclosed with a fence. It's got a beautiful bathroom in it, not an outhouse. It's got a bathroom in it. It's got 3 beautiful mounts, perfectly manicured. Everything is perfect, right? And it's all enclosed. Can't get a foul ball in, right? Everything top, everything, right? It's got a beautiful bench with cushions on it. you go to the bullpen for the visitors team. Okay, it's in the field where if you drop a ball, it goes onto the field. It's right by the stands where everybody can chirp at them. And there's an outhouse, one of those John's things, the plastic things, way down at the end. So you got to walk down the end to go to the bathroom. I mean, that's what home field advantage is. You're at a disadvantage. And of course, I'm told that all the home team players, when somebody is warming up, it's right by the I guess, right field stand. So they all chirp at him. It's part of the game. You gotta have your composure. So I don't think the guy should get banned. So we'll move on. Okay. Having said that, did everybody make their pick here? Did I miss anybody?
Steelers win.
All right. I'm going to take the Steelers -3, regardless of the outcome of the game. Oh, here's my favorite game of the card. Let's go. Saints at Titans. Saints -2.5. I'll start off because I'm a Titans fan. Hope springs eternal. We won a game. It was a lot of fun. I love Cam Ward. We're starting 9 of 11 guys on defense last week are rookies. I think it's ever happened. 9 of 11. 3 of them defensive backs came from the practice squad, never had an NFL snap in their careers, and Titans win that game. They're at home. There is hope for this team because of the quarterback play. Jeffrey Simmons still playing his heart out. I'd rather see the Titans get beat to get a higher pick, but Titans are going to win this game. I'm going to take the 2.5. Titans win at home. They're getting better, and there is some hope as we go forward. We need a lot of pieces, but there is hope. Statler.
John, I picked them to win against Kansas City last week, and I'm gonna do it again this week. I'm gonna roll with the Titans again this week. I think that they beat the Saints. I'm gonna bet them at +2.5.
Logan Powell.
Yeah, I love Cam Ward. I think the Titans are slowly but surely creeping into relevancy. The Saints, they're somewhat in the same boat, but they're feistier. I think Kellen Moore is a very good coach.
Agreed.
And that's where the difference lies. I think currently the Saints are being better coached. They're still a bad roster, just like the Titans, but the Saints have that upper edge in coaching. And also they're coming off some good vibes. I mean, you got Taysom Hill throwing touchdowns. I mean, they are riding high. I think that both these teams have something to look forward to for years to come. Not so much this year, but they might also both be trying to lose, but who knows? But I think I'm going to go with the Saints here just because I just think that a little bit feistier team. They put up more of a fight on a week-to-week basis.
Trent, any hope here for the Titans going forward?
Yeah,
not only in this game, but going forward. What do you say?
I like the Titans going forward. I mean, they've won 2 out of their last 3, and the key to those victories is keeping Cam Ward off his back. They've allowed 3 total sacks in those 3 games, and Cam Ward's got 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. He hasn't been lighting it up with a lot of passing yards, but he's getting the job done, and they're scoring points, more importantly. They've scored 29, 24, 26 points in their last 3 games. They are putting points on the board, which was not what we were seeing earlier in the season. I think Cam Ward is definitely the future of this franchise. He's a very solid quarterback, and he's only going to get better. As far as this game, I like the Titans to win this game, and I also love the over in this matchup. I think both teams are going to come out and score a decent amount of points for having poorer offenses, but I think they score some points.
All right, so far all of us on the Titans. What did Logan do?
Saints.
What? The Saints?
Saints, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't get a say in this one, so I'm going to go Titans here. I think also, they may have played themselves out of a number 1 overall draft pick, but you know what? In this year's draft, I think having the number 1 to number 5 is pretty much the same anyway.
Yep.
And obviously, the Titans don't need a quarterback, so they can sit comfortably anywhere between 3rd or 4th or 5th pick and get the guy they need anyway.
Yeah, it's not
moving
going to matter.
forward. So I like the Titans a lot in this one.
All right, we're all for the Titans here except for Powell. Ben Franklin said, "A fool and his money are often part ways." So you're bad on that, Logan. Titans are going to win this game. Watching Titans games in the middle of the season, you had to turn it off in the first quarter. You couldn't get through the first quarter. They were so bad. It was painful to watch. Now there's some hope, and that's what a fan needs is hope. And so we have some hope in our quarterback. So we'll see what happens going forward. Okay, big game here. Jacksonville at Indy. Jacksonville -6. They got to win this game. Indy's out of it for all intents and purposes. With Philip Rivers has not won a game yet. Let's start with Coach Vince Mayako. Vince, Jacksonville -6 at Indy. What do you see?
Hey, you know what? I have a lot of respect for Philip Rivers. What he did on Monday night, I'm watching him going, hey, this guy's 44, and his passes, I mean, there were a little bit of flutter to his, it wasn't a tight spiral, but that dude knows how to play football. I mean, he was a step ahead of the 49ers defense on Monday night, and that's saying a lot. And there still is hope for the Colts. The Colts have to win out, and the Texans have to lose out. Fortunately for the Colts play the Texans, I believe, next week. So there is still a glimmer of hope for the Colts, but kudos to Philip Rivers, man. With that said, we got Jaguars, right?
Yep.
Jaguars they're playing good football right now. They really are. And Trevor Lawrence is kind of coming into what we anticipated several years ago. Colts keep it tight for a while, but I see the Jaguars pulling away at the end.
Well, the Jaguars went all the way on the West Coast last week and played a great game. So I think they're tough. I'm going to lay the 6 with the Jags. I don't think any can stay with them. This team is streaking right now. Let's get to Trent Connor.
Yeah, if we flash back to the beginning of the show, we were talking about the surprising teams in the NFL. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars is the most surprising team in the league right now. They were 4-13 last season, and now they're in contention for the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. I mean, they probably won't get it, but they are a top 3 seed right now. I think they deserve a lot of credit, especially Trevor Lawrence. He's having a great season. And the Travis Etienne in the backfield is also having a great season. He was kind of thought of as like a committee back, and now he's becoming the bell cow of this team and leading this team to victories on the ground. I think the Jaguars are hot right now. The Colts are just going in the other direction. I think the Jags cover this number and win decisively.
Yeah, I like the Jags here as well. I just can't bet Philip Rivers. Sorry. Brendan Statler.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts are just spiraling. I mean, they have pretty much nothing going for them. I mean, yeah, Philip Rivers looked good in the first half of the game against 49ers, but it all kind of fizzled out after a while. I don't trust the Colts to beat anybody at this point. I think Jaguars win this game pretty easily.
That leaves Mr. Powell, Logan Powell.
Yeah, the Jaguars, they are really hot right now at the right time, and Trevor Lawrence, he's playing at MVP caliber level, and it's just funny seeing how good coaching can really change the landscape of a whole team, and particularly a quarterback. I mean, he's kind of had a lot of coaches in his time. You know, Urban Meyer was at the start of his career, and that was an absolute shit show. And then, you know, Doug Peterson kind of fizzled out as the time went on, and now you have Liam Cohn, and he has turned his offense around. And then for the defense, they are one of the most opportunistic defenses in the league, and they have been steadily getting better as well. They're not just relying on turnovers. I think that the Jaguars could make some noise in the playoffs. They could be a team like the Commanders last year, where you didn't even though they were playing good, you didn't expect much out of them in the playoffs, and they end up being in the AFC Championship game. So I think this is going to be a game where the Colts, unfortunately, will lose again. They had such a good thing going with Danny Dimes and the whole team, but unfortunate how it ended up. But I think they'll be back next year. But for today, for tomorrow, I mean, yeah, give me the Jaguars.
All right, we're all over the Jags here, all of us minus the 6. This segment brought to you by my good friends at MyPillow. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history, as you all know. It's because of our audience that they're making it through, and we want to thank MyPillow for being a founding sponsor of Godzilla Wins from day one. They've never wavered. Want to thank their team. Want to thank Mike Lindell for believing us. Dawn Curtis, their vice president of marketing. Merry Christmas all. And look, everybody at MyPillow wants to thank you, our listeners, especially here on Godzilla Wins, for your continued support They're going to pass on some great Christmas specials that are still going on through Christmas. These are going to be through the first week in January. You got to get the MyPillow slippers. They're fantastic right now. Only $39.98. These are $140 value. They're also going to throw in the leather protectant spray. So this is your after Christmas sale still going forward. Just go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla, mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. Everything is there. Now, for Christmas, we got Sammy a brand new MyPillow cat blanket, who he absolutely loves, sleeps on it now all day, right in front of the heater. Then we put it under the tree. Now he goes under there. Sammy loves his pet blanket from MyPillow, or you can call them 800-854-0504, 800-854-0504, promo code Godzilla, and you are good to go. By the way, anything you buy, they're extending their money back, 100% money back offer through March 31st. So if you don't like whatever you buy, you can send it back, get 100% money back guarantee. And of course, every product they have is guaranteed for life. So you never have to be concerned about that. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. You're good to go. Bucks at Dolphins. Who cares? Let's go quickly. Bucks -6. Logan.
Yeah, give me the Bucks here. They need to win. They still have a chance to win the AFC South, but if they lose another game, I think they're completely out. And the Dolphins, they've surged a little bit, but they're still not good enough. I think it'll be close enough. I think the Dolphins will cover, but give me the Bucks.
No Tua, benched for the season. Now the third string quarterback, Trent.
Yeah, I'm not betting on Quinn Ewers. Give me the Bucks.
Coach Vince.
Yeah, too much at stake for the Bucks. They win out. They win the NFC South. So take the Bucks in this one.
Brendan.
Yeah, do I really have to say anything? I mean, Miami wasn't that great with Tua. Now they don't have Tua. The Bucks are going to roll in this one.
My second best bet of the day, Tampa -6. I don't see Miami staying in this game. I think they win easily, and I think probably they somehow find a way to win the conference. So we'll see what happens. Terrible conference, by the way. Okay, guys, let's move on. All of us over the Bucks -6. That is my second best bet of the day, along with today's game, the Saturday game, which is San Diego or the Chargers, whatever they are, the Chargers. New England at Jets, Patriots -13.5. The Jets just a complete clown show. You just can't bet them. So I like New England in this game. Vince.
Yeah. Patriots roll.
Logan.
Yeah, the Jets have been terrible. I don't even think they have an interception the entire year. That if that stands, I think that'll be the first time in history, or one of the first times in history. They have not been good whatsoever. Justin Fields is not the guy. They have a lot of questions at hand. They need to take some time looking at the mirror for that whole organization. Giving the Patriots to absolutely roll in this game.
Trent, right now, would you rather be a Titans fan or a Jets fan?
Titans 100%.
Okay, why?
Because of Cam Ward.
Who's your pick in this game?
Patriots are gonna dominate this team. Drake May's coming off a 380-yard passing game, his first 300 passing yard game of the season. I think it's Patriots all day.
It's going to be ugly, as they say. Put on your ugly Christmas sweater for this game. It's going to be a mash fest. Panthers. I mean, New England big. Okay, here's a big game. This is my favorite game on the card. Not a best bet, but my favorite game on the card on Sunday to watch, other than my Titans. Seattle goes to Charlotte. Panthers in control of their division. Win, you're in. That's all you got to do. Win games. But now I got Seattle flying across the country, going to Charlotte. They're -7. No respect for Carolina whatsoever. Kind of like the same thing as the Chargers. Vince?
Yeah, this is and then also Seattle, I'm not saying that they are, but they have that play the 49ers next week. Could this be a trap game for the Seahawks,
Yes.
coming off an emotional win on a Thursday night against the Rams, now flying half cross country, playing a team that if they win and win out, the Panthers are in the playoffs. boy, this smells like not only a game that the Panthers can keep close, but the Panthers could actually win outright. So I like the Panthers in this one.
Well, so do I. I love the Panthers here. Trap game is it for me. You had a big win. You're flying across the country. You're playing a very hungry team. Those fans, it's been a long time that the Charlotte football fans, Carolina, whatever you want to call them, have a game of this magnitude at the end of the season. And it's a really opportunity for their quarterback, Bryce Young, who has come under immense criticism from all over the place, including us here and me. Not saying he's an NFL quarterback, chance for him to shine. So I like them too. Let's go to Brendan Statler.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina has been very impressive this year, a lot better than they've been in recent years, but I have a hard time betting against the Seattle Seahawks this game. I think they win this game. I think it's close, but I do think that they're a touchdown better.
Well, what do you think there, Mr. Connor?
Yeah, I like the Panthers in this game. They have a lot to play for. Seattle's traveling across the country. They could kind of be looking past the Panthers in this spot. I think the matchup between J.C. Horn and Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be a really interesting battle. We'll see how good J.C. Horn is, having to guard one of the best receivers in the game. But if this was a primetime spot, I would love the Panthers in this situation. But since it's not, I would still bet the Panthers, but I wouldn't love it as much.
Why?
Because the books are gonna take a lot more action on the game if it's prime time, and Seattle's probably gonna get a lot more love. And Sam Darnold's record of playing in primetime games is not great. So I think there's less pressure on Darnold in this spot, but I think the Panthers still cover.
Who does that leave?
I still got to pick.
Go ahead.
Carolina, they are a really good team at home, and they've been a team that just has consistently done enough to stay relevant and to stay in that picture. And I think right now they're leading that division, and they just keep winning. Overall, I mean, Seahawks, they are one of the best teams, if not the best teams in the league currently, after just beating the Rams. But I think that they honestly, like you said, John, they are 100% looking past this game. I mean, they don't necessarily need to win this game, and I think that Carolina absolutely does need to win this game. And with that all being said, I think Carolina definitely covers, and if the money's right, I would even take them as money line.
I think they got a hell of a shot to win this game. And I mean, if we thought that at the beginning of the season, the Panthers would be in a position to win their division, to win their division, basically with 2 games to play, one of them at home, you'd be, no, you guys are crazy. So I think they got a hell of a shot. I love the Panthers as well. Let's get to the biggest game on the card. Everybody's going to be tuning into this game. You're going to be setting your clock by it. You're not going to want to, from the first snap on, you're not going to miss a single snap. Raiders, Giants in Las Vegas.
I'm already
and the Giants minus. I'm sorry. The Giants minus 1.5. This has got to be the biggest game in the card, Vince.
Yeah, for the number 1 overall draft pick. No Max Crosby. No Max Crosby tomorrow. The Raiders are holding him out. I wonder if that's telling you that the Raiders are going to diminish their roster so they lose out.
I think so.
I think the Giants win this one.
I agree.
I got no respect for the Raiders right now.
I agree, and I think they feigned an injury. They said he was injured. There was no report of him being injured. They're just keeping him out of the game, probably to keep him healthy. But to tank, I mean, this is a tank job, and when you're basically sending a message to your team at home, look, we're going to keep our best defensive player out because we hurt his toe, or he has a hangnail, or whatever's going on. I mean, you got to bet the Giants here. Trent Connor.
Yeah, this is an interesting game because it feels like both teams are going to be battling to lose this game. So I wouldn't sniff this game with my own personal bets, but if just to give out a pick, I'll take the Raiders.
You take the Raiders, okay? Logan.
Yeah, I like the Giants here. Like you said, I have no respect for the Raiders as well. I think Max Crosby's definitely going to request a trade, possibly this offseason. I think he's fed up. They haven't been relevant or good in the entire time he's been there, and he is one of the best defensive ends in the league, but he just doesn't get talked about nearly enough anymore because of how bad they are. Pete Carroll was supposed to come in and bring stability and bring somewhat of a winning culture. However, he hasn't done that whatsoever. I think his time is up. He's a very, very old gentleman. Still chewing on that bubble gum, but I think his time is done. I think the Raiders need to move on and just move on entirely. Shout out Geno Smith in West Virginia, but he has been terrible with them as well. I don't know. I hate seeing it, but
They're horrible, dude. I mean,
yeah,
they
they're
just
terrible.
suck.
Give me the
And,
Giants.
Good riddance to Pete Carroll, total libtard. Statler.
Oh my God. If you're really betting money on this, you people are sick and you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. This is going to be the worst football game you have ever witnessed in your life. I agree with Trent entirely. These two teams are going to be battling to lose, and that's precisely why I think the Giants will win, because even the Giants will screw up tanking.
I love the Giants -1.5.
Oh,
here.
God. Both these teams are awful.
I love
Nobody is going to watch this
the
game.
purpose of placing a bet is to cash the ticket.
Ugh.
To cash the ticket. A game I'm not going to watch, but I'm going to win money on. I like the Giants. Okay,
Man.
let's get to a big game. Eagles at Bills. I'm going to start. It's my third best bet of the day. Bills. I think the Eagles are frauds. I think they come in here to Buffalo and get trounced. And -1.5. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth is one of my favorite sayings. This is a gift. Buffalo wins this game. They win it big. Eagles, they're already clinched. They're frauds. They're going to get beat in the first round of the playoffs. I don't care who they play. I love the Bills. Let's go to Vince.
Yeah, I agree. Eagles have their ticket punch for the playoffs. Really nothing to play for other than maybe a 2 to 4 seed. But Bills have a lot to play for. So take the Bills in this one.
Trent Connor.
Yeah, the Bills are rolling on the ground right now. James Cook has, I think, 5 touchdowns in his last 2 games. And these two teams, they usually have good run defenses. The Eagles' run defense is not what it used to be. They're dealing with a bunch of injuries, and these two teams actually call the highest percentage of run plays on offense. So I think you're going to see a lot of action on the ground, quick game, and I think the Bills handle them easily.
Okay, Mr. Statler.
Are the Eagles pulling most of their starters? Do we know?
We don't know.
We don't know. If the Eagles play their starters, I love the Eagles at +1.5. If they rest their starters, I would take the Bills.
Look, I don't think you're going to rest your starters when Buffalo is fighting for the division lead and fighting to stay in the playoffs. That's really bad form.
Well, that doesn't mean anything for the Eagles. They're NFC.
Yeah. No, but still, I mean, but to pull your starters and give Buffalo a win, I don't really see them doing that, especially because they haven't played well. I mean, that's to me, you got to start playing better. But okay, you like the Eagles, Vince?
Yeah, I like the Bills in this one.
Anybody I miss?
I'll take the Bills as well. The Eagles, you can't sit because the Eagles haven't picked up much momentum all year. They've been up and down, and their defensive line, especially, starting to pick up some momentum. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they are starting to pick it up a little bit, but overall, especially on the offensive end, they just haven't got anything going. So look for them to try and get some going against a pretty good Bills team, but give me the Bills.
All right, guys, we're running short on time here. We got to run through these last 2 big games. Bears at Niners. I got a lot of bets this week. Niners -3. This is my third best bet of the week. I love the Niners here at home over the Bears, which I'm still not sold on, guys. No way they should have won that game against Green Bay. All you got to do is catch the football. Packers win that game. I like San Francisco -3, Vince.
Yeah, I like it with my heart, and I also like it with my head, too. I think the 49ers offense is now really starting to pick up some steam. CMC looks like he's playing the best football he has all season. Brock Purdy, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I like the 49ers, and if the 49ers win out, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. And who would have thought that 2 months ago with all their injuries?
It's going to happen. Trent Connor.
Yeah, I love the Niners in this spot. They've been kind of overlooked all season because they've been battling injuries, and yet here they are, one of the best teams in the NFC. Brock Purdy has them playing well. He's a very capable quarterback, especially with CMC out of the backfield. It's easy option to dump down to. So I like the Niners at home here.
All right, Logan Powell.
Yeah, I think that if the Niners were to secure a 1 seed, even if not, I think Kyle Shanahan should be coach of the year. He has yet to win that award, and I don't know how. He's one of the best coaches in the league. And also give props to Robert Saleh. They have lost a lot on the defense, and they still performing at a high level. Imagine what this defense could be with Warner, with Bosa. They have still performed at a very good level, and I think the 49ers are going to be a scary team to play in the playoffs, because once they get into those playoffs, they hit another gear. Kyle Shanahan hits another gear as a coach. They are a scary team to play. Give me the Niners here. Bears are legit, but the Niners are more legit.
Statler.
I'm going to go real quick. San Francisco wins this game.
Okay, you like San Francisco -3. Is this is Saleh, did he get screwed in New York? Is he going to be a head coach after this season? I think he ought to be.
Oof.
No.
For the Niners' sake, hopefully not.
All right.
49ers have said
guys,
they're offering him a contract. They will
card.
make him the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL if he
deserves
stays with the Niners.
He does.
He deserves it. He deserves it. By the way, the only coach I want for the Titans is Mike McCarthy. That's who we want, McCarthy. Veteran coach. We need stability there. So hopefully they'll pick him. But I'm sure that Amy will pick some defensive coordinator you never heard of, is typically what they do. Okay, final game. Rams at Atlanta. Atlanta playing a little bit better football. The Rams, do they really need this game? They're in Atlanta, -7.5. Logan.
Yeah, give me the Rams to cover this. The Rams are arguably the best team in the league, in my opinion. I know they lost the Seahawks last week, and that's going to hurt their chances of getting the number 1 seed. But the Rams are really good ball team, and I think that they have what it takes to win the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford's playing arguably his best ball of his entire career. I think they'll handle Atlanta pretty easily.
Brendan.
Atlanta sucks. The LA Rams are a legit Super Bowl contender. Take the Rams.
Trent Connor.
Yeah, this is a contrarian pick in prime time. Public's going to be loving the Rams. Give me the home dog in Atlanta.
All right, going to the Dirty Birds. Vince.
Yeah, I think Kirk Cousins keeps this one close. And I think they keep it within the 7.5. Very possible that the Rams really won't have a lot to play for, because if the 49ers and Seahawks run the table, they're going to be a wild card team. So they're going to have to play the entire playoff run on the road. So I like the Falcons in this one.
Trap game Atlanta, +7.5. Everybody's going to bet the Rams. Figure they're going to bounce back. Kirk Cousins, if he was a starter at the beginning of the season, this team gets in the playoffs. They win the division if he was the starter and not that clown they had. Guys, that about wraps it up. Thank you for being with us today on the behalf of Godzilla Wins, WVSportsNation.com. All these big games coming up. We will see you next Saturday. Filling in for me Monday and Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. will be Killer Carl. I'm still off, the big guy in town. That's my son, Jackson. We'll be taking some time off with him and Joe. And then from 8 to 10, Professor Phil Klein, Liberty University. I will be back on New Year's Eve, 6 a.m., bright and surly on the 31st. Other than that, guys, have a great New Year's, a great holiday, and I'll be back on Wednesday. I want to thank my panel for being with us. Brendan Statler, Logan Powell, Coach Vince Mayako, the old ball coach. And Happy New Year, Vince, to you, Tammy, your family, and Trent Connor. Trent Connor, thanks for being with us, Trent, and my best to your girlfriend, Santana, big part of our team. And she's one, dude. I'm just going to give you a little advice. She's one you don't want to let get away. Just saying. Guys, I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great holiday. That's it for Godzilla Wins.